A very good morning to my dear students. How are you all? Yes, today we will start our new unit, new lesson. This is lesson number 5. Topic for today is perceptions of the Middle East after the Golden Age. But before we start, we should know that what do we mean by perception? Perception means someone's idea or thinking. So what was the thinking or ideas about of the Middle East after the Golden Age? From your social book, page number 38, 39, 40 and 41. And today is Monday, 11th of May 2020, and this is Arusa Fahad with you, your social teacher. So let's start discussing about the perceptions of the Middle East after the Golden Age. So class, it's your lesson number 5, topic perceptions of the Middle East after the Golden Age, right? So here we have some key vocabulary words. First is specimen. What do we mean by specimen? An individual animal or plant or piece of a mineral, a kind of a piece of something. Next word is relic. An object surviving from an earlier time, especially one of historical interest. Our learning objective for today is that by the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand how perceptions are formed over the time and explain the concept of Orientalism and how it came about. We will see that what do we mean by Orient and how it came into being and what was the concept of Orientalism. As we know that we are starting this new topic that is about perceptions of Middle East after the Golden Age. So we will see that after the Golden Age of Islamic civilization, what happened to them. Okay, so let's start. Much of knowledge stored in the houses of wisdom in the Muslim world was translated into Latin and European languages by travelers and explorers. What was happening, that the information they were having, the Muslims were having the information over there, it was translated into different languages like Latin and European languages by the help of the one who was coming and going from there, like the travelers and the explorers. The houses of wisdom and the ancient libraries. Ancient means old libraries, right? In the Muslim world were destroyed. They were all destroyed. The houses of wisdom were having ancient libraries, like old libraries, but it was all destroyed in the Muslim world. Knowledge was passed from the Muslim world to Europe, and Europe began to prosper. As you know that if there is no knowledge over there, the country or the country cannot prosper. So the knowledge from the Muslim, it transferred to the world of Europe, and Europe began to prosper. In the 16th till 19th centuries, Europeans were traveling and exploring all over the world. Like the Europeans on that time, in that era, in 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th centuries, they were traveling and exploring all over the world. The lands east of Europe, the Levant eastward through China and beyond were called the Orient by Europeans. You remember that in the objective we discussed about Orientalism. So first of all, we will learn that what do we mean by Orient. The word Orient comes from the Latin word means east. The Orient means over here east, and the word Orient came from the Latin word, that is the meaning is east or rising, as in the rising sun. Why would Europeans think about the eastern lands were mysterious and different? There's a question for you. Why would Europeans think like that? In Europe, much of land is green and has a fair amount of rain. In the Middle East, what was happening? In the Middle East, there is all over the world, there is desert. In the Middle East, much of the land is dry and there are seemingly endless deserts filled with sand in some places. But in the European side, there is a lot of greenery and has a fair amount of rain. As we came in to know that what do we mean by Orient and what was the origin of Orient, for many Europeans at that time, the Orient was a strange and mysterious place. This notion that the countries to the east of Europe were different, strange, and mysterious is called Orientalism, right? So, Europeans at that time they were using horses and donkeys to go from place to place in the Middle East. They saw new animals like camels and elephants for the first time. They saw markets with people trading products like dates, perfume, incense, spices, clothes, which were new goods for Europeans. When they went over there in the Middle East, they saw that a lot of the trading products like dates, perfume, incense, spices, clothes, which were new for them. Most importantly, Europeans saw that the culture of the Muslims was much different than their own culture. Obviously, every country has their own culture. So when they came over there, they saw that the Muslim are having the different culture and Europe is having a different culture. Customs were different, clothes were different, greetings were different, family life was different, the way of doing business was different, like everything was different with from the European countries. They were having different culture. Along with it, that Europeans wore trousers and hats, while people in the Middle East was they were wearing loose fitting kandura or salwar or gutra or turban. Muslims took off shoes in homes and mosques, while Europeans wore shoes in homes and places of worships. Like when they came over there, they saw that there are a lot of differences between Europeans and the Middle East people, that their culture, their dressing, and their kind of worship, all are different. At the same time, the East was a place of great resources, both man made and natural resources. The purpose of European exploration was to seek more land and resources, so they wanted to manage and control the areas they explored to gain economically. To do this, Europeans promoted to a perspective that the lands east of Europe were not a modern and needed Europeans to help to them get modernized. Now, my dear students, there is a small task for you. You need to read all the PowerPoint and the video and your social book. This lesson number 5. You need to find the answer for these two questions, right? That the question that circle the best answer. Okay, here we have two questions. You need to choose the best answer for this question. Number 1 is, what did Europeans think about the Middle East during the 19th and 20th centuries? Like the Europeans, what they were thinking about Middle East people. It was in the middle of a golden age of artistic and scientific achievement. B, it was not as advanced as Europe was. C, it was an important cultural center in the world. Or D, it was a great place to take a vacation. What do you think? What is the best answer for this question? Question number 2. What is a good definition of Orientalism? If you remember in the beginning, we discussed about this. A part, the idea that Eastern cultures were different from European cultures and difficult to understand, like mysterious. B part, the idea that the Islamic world experienced a golden age from the 8th century to the 14th of century. Or the C part, the idea that the Middle East has had a great influence on European culture. Or the D part, the idea that Middle Eastern culture has been changing and developing throughout history. So what do you think, students, that what could be the right answer for the good definition of Orientalism? As you remember that the Orientalism is the word came from the word Orient, and it's a Latin word. Yeah. So you need to read all the passage again and need to find out the answer and circle the best answer. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.